extend the contract, in which we are saying they have now an opportunity to come out of this contract. Premier Makura, in his State of the Province address, did mention that this is one of the things that has cost the ANC a lot of votes and has actually caused a lot of harm to the people of Gauteng. We know that this the cost of this, including VAT, should have never been anything beyond 22 billion rand. But now we are told that there's 67 billion rand that now needs to be collected of these etolls, which makes them one of the most expensive roads, in terms of a per kilometer price in the world. And therefore we are then saying, let us ensure that this contract is not renewed. The president must not actually, as we've heard now, that the president is actually now considering introducing stricter and stringent measures to make sure that there is better collection of this. And we are saying that these has actually gone a long way in crippling the economy of Gauteng. We've heard of companies that are now sitting with R500,000 rand worth of outstanding e-ticket fees that needs to be paid for. And we are then saying this cannot continue. We are asking that this be scrapped. We are asking for an investigation. There's 10 billion rand that has gone towards irregular expenditure because of Sanral's own mismanagement in terms of how they do the supply chain. We are also now questioning the fruitless and wasteful expenditure, which is amounting to about 15 million rand. And how the 5 rand 70 plus that they're collecting out of each rand, out of each liter of petrol that they're collecting, is not going towards the maintenance of the roads and towards building of new roads in Gauteng. So we are saying that there is better way in which we'll be able to then deal with the e-toll, or we deal with the maintenance of our roads here, in building or in maintaining our roads. But this needs to come down. This needs to be stopped, and we have now an opportunity, and we're calling on the president to make sure that we really bring this to an end.
Sanral has also asked for stricter measures for people to pay. Some of them include the fact that defaulters could have their licenses blocked. They're also hoping that SARS could also intervene to get money back. What are you saying about that?
Well, we're saying that you cannot punish people for something that you didn't consult with. This issue of etolls have been a thorn since the first country had gone up, because people were consulted after this whole system had been put in place. Fact of the matter is, now we're looking at a projected 93% of the money that is actually generated or is supposed to be generated out of this same countries leaving South Africa, leaving only about 7% to be used as money towards the maintenance of that. So Sanral cannot now want to come and bulldoze and bully people for a system that people have clearly from day one said is a system that they are against.
Will this not be seen as politicking as for the DA, knowing that the president is actually going to come up with a decision for the etolls imminently?
Well, no. We've been talking about this particular issue for quite a while. As you would remember, we've asked questions, we've put up motions in the legislature. In fact, the premier said he's heard our cries and is going to act on it. But then it looked like it was just talk, because he said he was going to act on it, but nothing has happened since the 2016 speech that he made to say that he's going to make sure that these things are taken down. And here we're standing in front of one that is still operating. As a matter of fact, they're talking about ensuring that the stricter measures in terms of making sure that people pay. This is a system that has been against the people, and we want to say that we want to ensure that this unjust system is actually taken down, and we can have an alternative which will see the road or the roads being paid for in a number of alternative routes that we've already alluded to on a number of occasions before. So Sanral must not come and bully people here. We need to make sure that the people are not suffering out of these countries and a lot of money leaving South Africa, going to an Austrian company which doesn't benefit the people of Gauteng more specifically.
Is the DA calling on South Africans or Gauteng motorists not to pay the etolls?
Well, we have said that this has been an unjust system. We are paying we're paying more than 5 rand 70 cents per litre of petrol. We are paying for our license renewals of vehicles, and we're paying for so many taxes. Road accident fund is not getting enough of money that is coming out of the money that they're collecting out of the levy, the fuel levy. Where is the money going to? the money that is collected out of the motor vehicle licenses is not all going towards road maintenance, or is not going towards road accident fund. So where is that money going? There is enough money to be paying for these things, and South Africans should never be charged more than what they should have been charged. The Western Cape has gone to court and have actually won their case against Sanral, and if there was a willingness from Gauteng to do the same thing, we could see these countries being put down, and the people of Gauteng not having to pay double for the same thing.
I'm not sure about my colleagues, but while you have your Tshwane mayoral cap on, please can you give us a comment about your city manager going to court on the eve of this Glad Africa report being or supposed to be tabled before council?
Well, I only learned last night of the possible interdict that the city manager is launching. I have actually brought the matter up to our lawyers. They're looking into it, and they will be obviously responding accordingly, and they will be heading to court tomorrow to deal with it.
But overall, what's your reflection? I mean, he did say that he wanted transparency, something that your government has been pushing in Tshwane, but yet there's this now last minute or 11th hour court battle with the city manager.
Well, that is the most surprising thing, to say that he was saying that everything should be made public, and this is an attempt, because if you're taking a report to council, and then there should be that transparency that talks to the report itself, but also talks to a process going forward. There's a preliminary report that talks to a process that also is going to unfold, and therefore it is surprising that now we're sitting in a situation where the same report cannot now be tabled, because there's a possible interdict that the city manager wants to bring against council.
Just for some clarity, Mr. Mayor, with regards to the etolls, is the DA calling on Gauteng motorists not to pay?
What we're calling for is for Sanral to make it very, very clear of where the money is going. That's number one. Number two, that they shouldn't be renewing their contract in terms of the electronic tolling consortium that they have. And number three, they need to be looking at alternatives in terms of how they're going to make sure that the roads, because it is a debt, we know and we acknowledge that it is a debt, but what we're calling for is for them to come up with, or to listen to what have been said in terms of the alternative, and not to punish the people of Gauteng for something that the people of Gauteng have from day one said they are not ready for.
The question is, are you calling on Gauteng motorists to or not to pay?
We are law-abiding citizens. We are calling for Sanral to do the right thing, but we are also now saying that the residents must not be punished for something that was never their fault, were never consulted on, and it's something that was sprung on them. And actually, they are already paying for these routes, because they are paying more than R570 in terms of tax. They are already paying for their motor vehicle renewal licenses on a yearly basis, which some of that should be going towards ensuring that the roads are maintained.
Mayor, Mia Lindike from Eyewitness News. I just want to know, you mentioned that you want to make sure that this contract is not extended, right? What options do you have on the table? Can we look at a court interdict if they consider it? What kind of measurements are you looking at to make sure that that they don't go ahead with it?
Well, one of the things that that is being said is that there is a possible extension that they want to grant without even going to through tender, which then will give us a leeway in terms of how we can then deal with that in a legal manner. But over and above that, we are also now saying that there is an online petition that we're calling for people to sign. There is also a physical petitions across Gauteng that are going to be distributed. We're asking for people to sign. We'll also be engaging with a number of organizations that have from day one been talking about how they want to ensure that this issue of the etolls don't continue. So there is a whole lot of action that is going to be taking place, and possible litigation that is going to be following as well.
But summonses have already been served on some of the motorists. Are you then considered to fight this battle with them, or are you looking to maybe assist motorists who are actually now caught up in this?
Well, we've actually met with one of the companies that is going to be appearing in court this week still, relating to the summons, and they've got the legal backing and the support from a number of organizations, including ourselves. And we are going to make sure that this is a test case that will then determine how we are able to then move with this case going forward. So this will be the first big company that has been taken to court, and then from there we will then also be able to then join, as friends of court in terms of dealing with this matter. Also, saying that there needs to be a review, and we have an opportunity now for a full review of the system as it currently stands.
Do you find that there's a veil of secrecy that is being peddled by either Sanral or with regards to motorists actually knowing where they stand when it comes to etolls?
Well, I think there is, there is a veil of secrecy that somehow needs to be revealed. One is that last year when we looked at when there was a question asked in Parliament in terms of what is the percentage of money that is leaving, we were told that it's 76%. But if you look at the projection this year, it's almost at 93%. Where is that money going? If you are wanting to collect so much money and you're not even collecting nearly half of what you're supposed to be collecting, that tells you that the system is failing. You then come up with bully tactics to then want to force residents to comply with something that they had said from day one, even during the public hearings, that they are not comfortable with this. When there was protest around these issues, you refused to then hear them, and then now you are then also now putting up much more. You're putting up much more fight, and you're putting up even stricter conditions to then try to bully residents into complying. Where is that money coming? Where is that money going from? There's more than 300 projects that Sanral is supposed to be rolling out. They're failing to roll those out because they're not even collecting as much money as they're supposed to, or don't even have much money as they're supposed to do. They're actually talking about a 600 million rand that they want to go and loan so that they can roll out some of their projects. If money had been staying in South Africa, we would be having enough money so that we can roll out some of the projects that they want to roll out, so that we can make sure that the road network around Gauteng is actually where it's supposed to be.
Thank you. Well, there you have it, Xoli. That was the DA's premier candidate. Oh, are they?
Tax.